folks and friends. It is a disaster down here. This is definitely one of those, it's going to get way worse before it gets better things. So right now, let's turn you around. I'll show you what's going on. All right, so this is a garage. My sewing area has been a corner of the garage that I use as the laundry room for 10 years. So we bought this house 10 years ago and we started saving up pretty immediately because it is a 1956 little candy box house and we love and adore it, but it is very small. There's only one bathroom, no guest room, nothing like that. And so we started saving so that someday we could figure out how to make that work. And so the someday is the nowadays. But that does mean that this area is going to be no more. But that's because I'm going to get an official sewing room. We're gonna have a second bathroom, and I'm actually gonna get a decent sized closet, which is not a thing that I have currently. So it's a lot happening. It's been a long time coming. This is potentially the most unaesthetic view of this ever. I am really excited about it. I am also very trepidatious, freaking out a little bit because this stuff always takes longer than you want it to take. It is always way more expensive than you want it to be. And it's going to disrupt my, kind of current obsession, which is just coming down here and sewing every day. I do the laundry, I do sewing. It's just sort of like my little me time. And I love it. But what that means is I've got like 4 days left of any kind of time and space in this room before I have to figure out how and where to maybe continue sewing or if I even can. So yeah. So today what I want to do, I've got a small pile of thrift flips and WIPs that need to be fixed, and ideally sewing something for fun for me on this big table, because everything's going to have to move to the kitchen table potentially. This is our indoor tool shed that I actually took pains to make look incredibly cute. It was a little bit of rage DIY after voting was done at the end of last year. It looks so cute. It took me so long. I did paint this ceiling, but this is going to be a very nice bathroom, which no one can be mad about that, right? I do wish I had a before to show you how drastic a change this is. These were all black. This was all just plain pegboard. The floor was sort of just nails and old paint. I'm really proud of this. So I am a little sad to see it go, but again, I'll have a bathtub. So what this means is currently, this is my living room. And this is fabric tub 1, 2, and 3. There's more fabric tubs, and there are tubs and tubs of vintage patterns. And I think they're gonna have to live next to here. This is literally like, here's my couch. This is behind the couch next to the front window. This is going to be where all of my sewing supplies are stored. And I hate that it's next to the light, but again, it's not going to be that long, and I have some fabric I can put over the top of these boxes. But this is sort of what I'm dealing with. My entire house is going to be full of totes and boxes because we don't have a storage unit. This is just what it is, and I'm making do. But as a crafty, creative person who is obsessed with sewing currently, I'm a little freaked out of how I'm going to continue my obsession and how I'm going to do it in any way that's actually going to bring me joy. Because that's the whole point of being creative and making things with your hands, right? I might have to set up everything at the kitchen table, which currently is also being used as storage. Like, you can't put a chair under it because there's boxes under there. There's stuff stacked on top. It's going to be a very weird few months. And if any of you have ever done any home reno, whatever timeline they tell you, double it, triple it. So while we're hoping it's only like 3 months, like it's probably going to be half a year. Like, that's how it goes. So just me and my fabric boxes chilling in the living room. Again, I know I am really privileged to be able to have the space to do this, to be able to do this reno. This is something, again, it's been 10 years of planning and saving and prepping and all of the things. So It's a lot. It's scary. I love my little home. I want to keep it a little home. I'm not trying to strip it down and make it contemporary. Don't worry. Not only are we putting in a second bathroom, but we are basically redoing the first one. So the original one, 1956, original tile, everything is upstairs. The one downstairs, we're doing it to match. So we're putting in a very period appropriate bathroom. It's going to be very pink. It's going to be very 50s. It's going to be tiled. It's going to look like it was always here. So that's the idea. That's the plan. But it does mean I got to figure out how to continue to make things with very limited space and limited time and random dudes in my house ripping walls out. So sewing vlog is what we're doing today. We're going to focus on that mending pile and thrift flip pile because I need to get it done in the next day or two because I have nowhere to store projects that are like incomplete. And I want to actually be able to use that big table while I still have it because it is going away. I want to be able to use it to cut a big piece of fabric. So I'm going to make a caftan, like the biggest hunk of fabric. And I'm just really excited about doing it. It's going to be fun. Let's get some sewing on. So just as I was about to get started, the mail person came, which means you get a little haul. I got some vintage buttons and some new fabric. So let's take a quick little look. I found these amazing late 80s, early 90s buttons. I got these little blue ones, which this is for a particular project. I got also this vintage fabric, which came in the tiniest envelope. Some super fun 80s style buttons, and then these little bitty gold buttons. This is one of those things. Had someone asked you, how many gold buttons do you have? I would have said, I have 900. No, apparently I don't. So I had to find some, which did lead to, a little bit of a haul. Like these. So since I've lost all my storage in here, I've been sort of putting my to be worked on ASAP projects in bags and just sort of putting them in a tote. My entire life is totes. These are the two big projects that I want to get done before I lose my big table. We'll see. Today, after mending pile is done, this is going to be my reward. I'm so excited. I love this. Oh, I'm so excited. Here's the fabric. One of the few vintage fabrics I have enough of to make a caftan. And then the second one, way more complicated. And I'm trying to be realistic. I don't know that this is going to get finished before I lose my table. But I want to do this sort of gunny sacks inspired McCall's pattern. Oh, this view. Look at this. So cute. Minus the ruffle, I think. Too many city streets for big ruffles, but I love it. So hopes, dreams, plans, we'll see. So for this recently thrifted piece, I wanted to keep it as is. I love it. It's a very high quality brand, fantastic cotton. Vintage red hanky. I don't know if that's coming across on camera, but a vintage red hanky ruined one of the best thrift finds I had scored in a while. But what I'm thinking is we'll crop it. We'll make it a little puff sleeve. So that's a project. This is a work in progress from, I don't know, a while ago, months ago. It only needs a zipper. I just didn't have one that worked. I do now. I just need to put a zipper in it and it's done. Little 70s, 90s boho dress. So cute. Totally finished. Seam all bound. Everything looks great. Something got off with the bust measurement between measuring, cutting, sewing, something. I genuinely don't know what. It is so tight in the bust, which is a rarity for me. So I got to figure this out. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. Oh, it's always so dusty down here. Figure out the bust and if and how I can fix it. Maybe just slice it open and do a little, I don't know, something in the front. Two new thrifted skirts that I absolutely adore. Both from the 90s, late 80s, 90s. One needs to be altered to make the waistband a little more tight. One has had it altered. I'd like to undo the previous altering. Another great thrift find. I am obsessed with seersucker at the moment for the summer, and I found this very big shirt. I think I want to cut it down just a little bit. I kind of like the oversizedness of it. Love the material, love what's going on. Just want to make it a little bit more me. I'm short. So most clothes that I get have to be shortened in some way. So please don't freak out that I'm ruining a shirt. I'm altering it and tailoring it to fit me. Yeah, I love it. It's such a great shirt. It is, Elizabeth by Liz Claiborne. Goodwill score for very, very cheap. And then a vintage skirt that you may have seen from my gardening video. It is just a skosh too big. I think the day I tried it on and bought it, I may have been a little puffy because now it doesn't fit. And it was literally just like 2 weeks ago. So I gotta, tighten up the elastic or something. So if I can get through this whole pile, which I really, 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 really want to, I get to make a caftan. So we're kind of going to hit speed racer mode and see what we can do. Speed sewing. Okay, so here's the frustrating thing, because we have to have the garage cleared out by the end of this week. I gave my full length mirror that was down here to a neighbor, and so now I just realized I have to go upstairs. Eddie fit check. Not so speed sewing. Alright, since I don't want to run upstairs right the moment to do fit checks, I'm going to just simply undo the tailoring alterations that someone had done on this super fun skirt. This is fun. So this vintage pattern is one that I've been planning on making for a little bit, to the point where when I was at Britex a couple weeks ago, I actually let myself splurge on a couple of really nice decorative frogs and some matching thread, which I normally don't do. I sort of just lean on my old supply that I've got. But yeah, I got these two frogs, very expensive. I had no idea how expensive frogs were, but you know, it's totally worth it. So this is a fantastic vintage pattern. It's super easy. Most caftans are, but this one did have a few different views, a few kind of curves in the neck, a few options for closures and what it looked like. So I actually did have to make a few decisions, which was great. But yeah, caftans, if you've never sewn anything, highly recommend as a starter project because it's about the same work as a pillowcase or a tote bag, but you have something to wear at the end. This is one size fits all, but it is also a vintage pattern. So just doing a quick tissue paper size check to make sure that yes, in fact, it will fit over my body. Also shortening it because I am short. And I did get the fabric that I'm using off of eBay quite a few years ago now. Pretty typical stuff, just laid the pattern out using my new pattern weights that I made and got everything all cut out. It is a stretchy fabric, so I did have to be a little extra careful, but nothing crazy. And first things first was to get the facings cut out and sewn, but pretty quickly ran into an issue with using vintage materials in that the seam binding I wanted to use literally was disintegrating. But I had a backup in my stash, so grabbed that and just got started. So for this caftan, as with most, there were just 3 big main pieces and the 2 pieces of facing. So once the facings were done, I was able to get those big long seams done, and that is genuinely it. Fit check. I can pretty much guarantee I was bopping out to some 80s pop here. It's kind of my go-to when I'm doing chores or just in the garage messing around. Fits great, feels great, lots of swoosh, lots of movement, dig it. So I started doing all of the hems while my sewing buddy took a nap. So I finished both of the arms, the 3/4 of the bottom hem, and was just ready to do the side slit. And the belt broke. Just came flying off my machine. I'm genuinely so sad here because I don't know how to fix this, and this whole project is going to have to be continued. Hello, darlings. It is days later, and we're back. Yeah, I wasn't recording when the belt broke, but I wish I had. I'm sure I jumped like crazy. It is now several days later. What do you think? This was one of the speed sewing, mending, altering projects. Wore it out and about today. Absolutely love it. I was able to, as I was out, get my hands on a belt, which should fit. My mom swears it's easy to replace, meaning she must have done it in the past. And also, because she is who she is, she saved the original manual for my sewing machine. So we're actually going to look up how to do it properly. All right, we ready? Let's do it. I'm supposed to oil this every week. Do people actually do that? Stitching. Okay, it doesn't actually tell me how to change the belt. I gotta imagine we can figure this out. It can't be that difficult. Yeah, no. Okay. Let's see what we can do. Got our Singer belt. Of course, this says for all singers that use a belt. Okay. Yeah, they're about the same shape and size, except one's a loop and one's string. I think it's just that. Could it be that easy? worked. I am so glad it was that simple. I hope I don't have to do it again anytime soon, because finding sewing machine parts out in the wild these days, not an easy task, but it works. So we actually get to finish a caftan today. I literally was like 20 minutes from finishing when it broke. So I'm very happy about that. But first, lunch. All right, so all the hems are done. We just need to do a little trying to see where we want to put the frogs, the decorative frogs. This is definitely bathing suit cover up style. I don't think I'd be wearing this out and about, but it is heavy and shockingly also weird with jeans and sneaks, but here we are. What do we think? Oh, it really feels nice. This is going to be amazing by the pool. Okay, so if it's going to be by the pool, I don't need them like up to my chin. And this V goes very deep. What do you think? I love it. I love the cut. I love the drape. I love the flow. I love the frogs. I only did 2 instead of the 3 that are on the pattern. Let's revisit the vintage pattern. She's so sassy. She's got 3. I only have 2 because, again, I am short. Every time I try to elongate something, it goes a little funny. But I do love this. It's so great. It was stretchy fabric, a little difficult to work with, but the outcome, 100% worth it. I absolutely, absolutely love it. So there's going to be a lot of changes coming up. I don't know if this is the last sewing project I'm going to get to do for a while, but I do know that I'm really excited about this space and what it's going to look like. And I'm really excited about the future potential to have a dedicated space to sew what I want, when I want, and do other crafts. It'll be a multi-purpose craft space. But thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for dealing with my sewing machine disaster with me. I really do enjoy doing these sort of sewing, creative, vloggy videos. So if you like this, definitely hit subscribe, like it, definitely comment, I don't know, little thimble emoji. I really appreciate you choosing to spend your time here hanging out with me. So thank you. Until I see you next time, stay creative, stay crafty, stay in caftan, and I'll see you soon. Bye.